The greatest overnight switch. How Istanbul built the world's largest airport and moved an entire aviation hub in 33 hours. On the night of April 5 to 6, 2019, Istanbul pulled off one of the most audacious logistical feats in modern aviation history. In roughly 33 hours, the city shut down its old main airport, Ataturk, and transferred from every scheduled passenger operation to a brand new mega hub that was 35 to 40 kilometers away. Istanbul Airport, what had been a busy but constrained facility handling around 60 to 65 million passengers a year, suddenly went quiet from commercial flights while a vast, still unfinished complex on the Europe side of the city came alive. This is the story that transfer and one of the extraordinary, sometimes dark, sometimes dazzling project that made it possible. Why a new airport was needed? Ataturk Airport, formerly Yasiluk, had gone far beyond its design, hemmed in by the city on three sides and Sea of Marmara on the fourth. It could not expand, runways were limited, gates were overcrowded, and it could not easily handle the large aircraft or the explosive growth of Turkish Airlines and connecting traffic. Turkey's leadership decided the solution was not incremental upgrades, but a clean sheet mega project far north of the city in the Arnavutköy district. On land that include forest, former mining areas, and artificial lakes, construction began after a 2013 tender. The first phase aimed for a capacity of around 90 million passengers a year, with a terminal that would become the largest under one roof in the world. Roughly 1.4 million square meters of enclosed space in the main building. The full vision across the multiple phases contemplated up to 200 million passengers annually and an area measured in tens of millions of squares of meters. The scale of thousands of football fields, the ground itself was hostile. Much of the site had been mined or left as flooded pits. Engineers drilled more than 12,000 boreholes, moved hundreds of millions of cubic meters of earth, and fought constantly changing soil condition, mud, and soft ground. Thousands of machines worked around the clock. At the peak construction, tens of thousands of workers were on site. The project was completed in a remarkably short time. The first phase in about 42 months, but the human cost was severe. Workers nicknamed the site the cemetery. Official figures later put the death toll at 55. Trade unions and some investigation reports claimed the real number was far higher. With allegations of unsafe conditions, long hours, poor dormitories, and pressure to meet aggressive deadlines, protests erupted in 2018. Hundreds of workers and supporters were detained. Despite the controversies, the physical airport rose. Runways, a colossal terminal with soaring ceiling and natural light, a sophisticated baggage system catching dozens of kilometers, and sport infrastructure on a city-like scale. The move itself, by early in 2019, the new airport was open for limited domestic and some international flights, but the real switch still had to happen. Airlines around handlers, security, customs, fuels, catering, and every piece of equipment that make an airport function had to recreate without collapsing the region's air traffic. Preparation took years and involved government agencies and the airport operator, airlines, especially Turkish Airlines, and specialized logistical firms. They held hundreds of meetings and ran simulations, created virtual reality training environments, and set up crisis centers. The bulk of the physical move involved more than 10,000 pieces of ground support equipment, baggage carts, boarding stairs, pushback tags, belt loaders, fire truck, and more. Loaded onto roughly 1,500 vehicles and moved across the city. Tens of thousands of tons of shifted in a carefully sequenced convoy operation. The critically window was the night of April 5 into April 6. Commercial flights at Ataturk wound down. The last casual passenger operation ceased. Equipment rolled out, staff relocated, systems were switched. Within about 33 hours, some accounts set the full operation and over close to 45 hours. The new Istanbul Airport was handling the main traffic. The IATA code IST transferred with at Ataturk was left primarily for general aviation, cargo, and other limited uses. It was not flawless. Early operations at the new airport faced the inevitable teething problems of any giant new facility. But the code transfer succeeded without the kind of multi day chaos many outsiders accepted. For a city of Istanbul's size and traffic volume, it remained an astonishing piece of coordination. Life inside the finished machine, once open, Istanbul Airport quickly became known for more than sheer size. The terminal is so large that walking between distant gates can feel like hike. Thousands of steps are common. To counter that, the operators added amenities that turn long layovers into something closer to a destination experience. Dozens of sleeper pods and quieter nap zones, a library with thousands of books, an airport museum displaying workloads from museums across Turkey, therapy dogs wandering the terminal to ease stress, pet leaf areas with grass, high-end lounges. Turkish airline facilities are quite frequently ranked among the world's best. Spas offering Turkish bath experience, massage and full treatments, and on-site motels, hotels with hundreds of rooms, some airsides, youth lounges, children's play area, and accessibility features for elderly or disabled passengers. It is deliberately designed as a place where people can rest, eat well, shop, or simply exist without the usual airport mystery. In recent years, it has ranked among the top airports in global passenger surveys and has become one of the Europe's busiest, regularly handling well over 70 to 80 million passengers annually and ranked high in international traffic real-life terminal stories. The airport has also produced its own strange human dramas like the Tom Hanks film The Terminal. People have found themselves stuck there for days and or months because of visa refusals, document problems, or geopolitical complications. One well documented case involved a Sudanese man who spent 5 months in the arrival area after being blocked from continuing to Cuba. He lived on smuggled coffee and biscuits, washed in sinks at night, and fought for legal help while trapped in a bureaucratic limbo. Another case involved a scholar who lived for weeks in the departure area after Canadian visa issue left her without a clear country to enter. Airport staff sometimes Airport staff sometimes helped with practicalities, media attention, eventually forced movement in the cases. These stories underscore that even the most modern hub can become a temporary, also not temporary, prison for people whose papers do not align with the rules of the moment. What it represents, Istanbul Airport is many things at once, a genuine engineering and logistical triumph, a symbol of Turkey's ambition in the 21st century, a place of real luxury and passenger care, a project shadowed by the deaths and difficult conditions of its construction. The overnight switch of 2019 remains the dramatic centerpiece, proof that with enough planning, money, political will, and sheer human effort, you can close one major airport and open another almost overnight. In one of the world's most busiest aviation corridors. The next time you walk its vast halls past the steep pods or therapy dogs or stare out of runway that replace the landscape of old mines and lakes, you are standing inside that story. A city that decided the old way was no longer enough, built something enormous on difficult ground, paid a heavy price in process, and then in the space of single night and day simply moved the future there. So that was the story of the incredible true story of Istanbul Airport, built on a cemetery and moved overnight in 33 hours. In just 33 hours, Istanbul shut down its old Ataturk airport and transferred an entire aviation hub to brand new mega airport.